All right, one big topic that comes up all the time on forums, here on YouTube, um, email conversations, etc., is obviously backpacks, bug out bags, get home bags, 72-hour bags, etc. All different kind of names for different ones for different purposes. An adjoining concept that goes with all these discussions a lot of times is what's called the gray man concept. People apply that a lot to not only their bags, but their gear, their clothing, and everything else. And there's really a separate aspect to each one of those. What I want to hit on right now is just some of our thoughts on the bag side of it and your backpacks and that sort of thing. I'm going to combine 3 or 4 different topics here all at one time. And again, this is just our personal thoughts based on our experiences that we have actually had from things that we've done, places we've been, things that we've seen. Again, our personal experiences. Yours may be different. You may have some different thoughts on it. We're well open to talking about it. Hit it up on our forums and post away. We can have a good discussion about it. That's part of the idea, exchange information. Specifically relating to bags. You start getting into the gray man concept, one of the first things that guys start wanting to talk about is not using a military bag as a get home bag, a bug out bag, 72-hour bag, whatever. Because they say that if you're using one of those type of bags, it's going to draw attention to you and you're going to be targeted quicker than somebody else. Our position on this is the opposite of that. If things are bad enough that you're actually having to employ this equipment, use these bags, you're on foot for whatever reason, it's a bad situation. We're not talking about a walk in the mall, taking your wife shopping, where you're trying to blend into the crowd and not be seen with your daily concealed carry weapon on you and that sort of thing. It's going to be panic, there's going to be chaos. People are not going to be paying attention specifically to the fact that you're using a military backpack for the most part. Now those that are, those are the ones that we got to think about and talk about. People that are going to pay attention to you are going to pay attention to you for the fact that you've got a bag. Whether it's a military bag, JanSport from Walmart, or whatever, is not going to matter to them. You could have a black garbage bag thrown over your shoulder with all your stuff in it, and all you're going to look like to them is some post-apocalyptic Santa Claus, okay? They see somebody with stuff. That's it. There's even the thought, and we tend to agree with this to a certain point, by using a non-military type backpack, you may put yourself even at further risk. Here's what I mean. If you're using a military style backpack and you're conducting yourself in the type of manner of a person that knows what they're doing, are serious about what they're doing, and that you're not just a bumbling amateur walking down the road, you will give the impression to most people, hey, I'm not a soft, easy target. It's going to make people think twice about whether or not you really do know what you're doing or whether you don't. For all they know, you could be some former combat vet, and that might be the last person they want to tangle with. Whereas you could be the best, Special Forces warrior in the world with your JanSport Walmart bag over your shoulder, and they may see you as, oh, there's an easy target. You get hit, well, you may be able to defeat them because you are that super Special Forces warrior, but you still invited that problem onto yourself to an extent, and now you start running into Murphy. Even the dumbest bad guys can get lucky sometimes against even the best of the good guys. So make them think twice about whether or not they want to grab onto you or not, whether they want to go after you or not. Using a military style pack is part of that contributes to that. Again, it's not just the bag. You've got to get out and use this stuff. You've got to train. You've got to get good training. You've got to do it on a regular basis. And you've got to act like you know what you're doing. Because if somebody does call your bluff, you better know what you're doing. But I think you can hedge the odds in your favor a little bit, unless it's somebody that's an equal bad mofo who won't care how bad you are, which they're going to come after you regardless of what you're using anyway. Then you can hopefully ward off some of the lower class, less desirables that may not be quite as experienced. A lot of the criminal society out there knows who they want to hit and who they don't. They will size you up very quickly, whether it's walking through the mall on everyday occasions like right now, or when things get really bad. They're still going to size up their targets of who and what they want to go after. They're going to look for the quick, easy targets that they think they can get away with the least amount of chance of getting hurt. Another aspect that comes in with a military bag is the quality and durability. Chances are you're going to be able to carry a lot heavier load. Not saying you should carry a heavy load, just saying you can carry a heavier load more comfortably over a longer distance with a military type pack, and also have better longevity. From a gear making standpoint, I'm going to tell you, the stuff, the El Cheapo backpacks that you get may work great for day-to-day use of hauling your stuff around in your truck to and from work, to the mall, whatever. But when you really have to get out and use it long term with no chance of replacement, and it's getting rained on, it's getting sweaty, it's getting ground in the dirt and the mud and the grime and the muck, all of those things will take a toll on the materials and the quality of the construction very quickly. And when it goes to part, you're not going to be in a place to repair it, replace it, whatever. Can't run up to Walmart and buy another one if you're really having to use this stuff. If you can go up to Walmart and get another one, chances are things haven't really hit the fan yet, and it's not that bad. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about buying a pack. Doesn't necessarily mean you got to go get a camouflage one or anything. Standard color packs work really well. OD green, Ranger green, Coyote brown, anything like that is a nice solid muted color. It's harder for the human eye to pick up on, which means less noticeable, quite honestly. And it gives you a little bit better blending in unintentionally. Just like in everyday life, it works that way. So think about what you're getting with your packs. Think about how you're going to use it. Don't think about a crap hit the fan situation in the same terms as you do right now in everyday life. They're not going to be the same. People are not going to react the same. They're not going to look the same. Yeah, if you strapped on a 50-pound military rucksack and went walking through your local mall today, you're probably going to get some odd looks and some attention drawn to you. Walking down the side of the road after everything's hit the fan and everybody else is in the same position you are, and if you're walking using your pack, obviously you're not driving. If you're not driving, then chances are most other people probably aren't either. People are going to be really busy with a lot of other thoughts going through their head than worrying about what kind of pack you're wearing and what it looks like. And, oh, his has got molly webbing. It must have something more special in it than the guy's who doesn't have molly webbing. Get your mind out of that mindset. Right now is not the same as when crap hits the fan. Speaking of the packs themselves, this is something that, another thing we put into our own personal use. You really need to try to have a couple of different bags for different uses. Try to avoid having the one-size-fits-all mentality for a pack. Now, obviously, we all come from different financial positions and everything else. How much money you've got to spend, disposable income is going to play into that, etc. Doesn't mean you got to go have 50 bags in the closet and buy every time the latest, newest, and greatest one comes out, go buy it. Just evaluate and look at what you're getting. You don't necessarily need let me rephrase that because I hate the word need. You don't necessarily want a big, giant, expedition size backpack that you're just using as a get-home bag in your truck. A smaller 3-day pack is going to work a lot better for that type setup. A bag in between, like a lot of people like to have a 72-hour bag, as they call it, just in case they got to pack up out of their house and go stay at a hotel or something. Folks have been evacuated from their homes for various reasons. 72-hour bag like that, you may want to have something in between a 3-day bag and an expedition grade bag. If you're talking about an actual bug out bag that you're going to pack up, throw on, and go on foot from point A to point B over a fairly long distance, but you have a specific place you're going to, but you're going to be out, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, you want a bigger expedition grade pack. You need to have enough supplies with you to last. Don't try to cram everything you're going to need for that kind of trek into a 3-day pack that's just a soft one versus one that's got a frame to it. You're going to find out real quick just how uncomfortable that is to try to carry and use. Get the right pack for the right job and look at what you're doing. Just as some examples, sometimes for a get home bag, this is Tactical Tailor's removable operator pack. I use this a lot as a day pack. It's big enough to put a good 2, maybe even 3 days worth of supplies in, and it's pretty comfortable to carry with that kind of weight in it. Makes a good get home bag where I'm not expecting to be out on foot more than 2, maybe 3 days at most. If you step on up to, and I'm a big Tactical Tailor bag fan, so just excuse that part. There's plenty of other good bags out there. I just really like TT's. This is their modular operator pack. It's more of a 3-day size pack. This could make a good 72-hour bag. It makes a good get home bag if you want something a little larger than, say, the smaller pack. This one makes a good patrol bag if you find yourself having to go out and do security patrols around your property wherever you are going to. This one is a lot more comfortable with a larger amount of weight on it than the smaller one is. If you really want to get into a true expedition grade bag, this is Tactical Tailor's Malice pack with their new Fight Light frame on it. This bag has an enormous capacity to it. You can put a lot of weight in this bag, especially with this external frame, the heavy padded waist belt, shoulder straps, etc., and carry it pretty comfortably a long way. Now, you don't necessarily want this as a get-home bag. It's so big and bulky, you're going to have a hard time keeping it stored in your vehicle. You're going to tend to want to overpack it, and you're going to move slower when you've got a bigger, heavier pack on. With a lighter, smaller pack, you're going to be able to move quicker and obviously get home quicker. And again, in a get-home scenario, we're talking about maybe you're at work and you got to get back home to your house on the other side of town. 30-minute drive in your car, but it may take you 2 days on foot, especially in a bad situation. So you don't necessarily want all this extra weight slowing you down. You want to manage your time that you're out and exposed. So these are just a couple of examples of the different bags that you can get and use. Again, think about this whole gray man idea when it comes to the packs, and don't think that just because it's a coyote brown pack with molly webbing on it that suddenly it's going to make you a bigger target or draw more attention. Quite honestly, I don't see it drawing any attention right now. If you go to your local mall, go to the food court, get you a Coke and sit down at the table and just do nothing but people watch for a while, you might be surprised at what you see people carrying. Older military surplus bags, camouflage backpacks, all that kind of stuff is very common now. It's part of the new, current style and fad. So it's not really going to look out of place right now, and I definitely don't think it's going to look out of place when things are going bad and people really aren't paying that much attention to you in general. So think about that. Think about getting the best that you can get with the money you've got. If you're anything like me, you're probably working on a really tight budget. Maximize your dollars. Get something that's going to last. Get something that's going to work. Get something that's going to be functional. Don't buy cheap just because it's cheap. Now, if you can find a good piece of gear, pack, whatever, at a good price, then by all means, jump on it. But don't buy something just to buy a cheap pack. If you got $100 to spend and you see a cheap $30 pack, don't say, oh wow, that was only 30 bucks. I can get that and be just as good as anything else and save that extra money. Generally, a lot of times that's, not a lot of times, I'll say most of the time that's not the case. If you got $100 to spend on a pack, try to get you a $100 pack if that's what you budgeted for it. You'll thank yourself in the long run once you actually have to put that thing on and use it. And I'll close out with that. Whatever bag or bags you do get, put your stuff in it. Load up what you're normally going to carry in it and get out and use it. If nothing else, load it up, throw it on your back, and you can put on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and go for a walk down your street. Feel pretty safe. There aren't too many places in America, maybe in some somewhat communist states, you may have a problem, but a guy in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt walking around with a brown backpack on is probably not going to draw any questionable attention whatsoever. Point being, get out there, use it. Get used to how it rides. Get used to how it feels. You may find that you need to move things around in it to balance the bag out. Look at where the weight's pulling at on it. Try to keep your heavier items closer to your body so they're not hanging out real far off of you. Think of your physics, your pendulums and leverage points, fulcrum points. The further away that weight is from your body, the more leverage it has on you. So practice with it, use it, get it so that it's comfortable, and you'll be a lot happier with what you've got. So hopefully that kind of puts some of our ideas out there. Just wanted to toss them out for everybody. Again, if you want to comment, discuss, whatever, we'll have a thread going on the forums. This is just one of a couple of different ones we're going to do, entertaining some different ideas on the gray man concept and that sort of thing. And we'll probably delve a little deeper into that concept in one of the next ones that we do, but I'll save that for when we actually do it. So appreciate you guys checking it out. Hope you found it a little bit helpful, or at least interesting. Take care.